and it's how we're rocking this Wednesday, the 7th of June, 2023. Hi, I am a Fatboy, and you're listening to the Fatboy Show here on RX Radio. How are you doing today? Now, this beautiful Wednesday, the 7th of June, happens to be a World Food Safety Day, and it is observed on the 7th of June each year. And it's meant to provide an opportunity for all of us to reinforce the importance of safe food practices, to highlight potential risks, and advocate for the implementation of robust food safety measures. Well, that all sounds very nice and fancy, but question number one is, do we have the food? How are we supposed to care about food safety while we're still struggling with food availability? Yeah, I think that's the bigger headache. So perhaps that's what we need to commemorate and celebrate, or rather commiserate over, instead of caring about whether or not the food is safe. Well, this year's World Food Safety Day is supposed to be celebrated under the theme Food Standards Save Lives, with the aim of stressing the importance of applying standards along the entire food value chain. Again, fancy mishmash of technocratic words, which means nothing to people who actually have no food over which to care about its safety. It's just so weird, right? But I don't know who comes up with these days. Do you want to know what else today is? Well, today, the 7th day of June, also happens to be International VCR Day. Yet another day which has been made redundant by advances in technology. I mean, what's a VCR? It's a video cassette recorder. A video deck, as we used to say here in Uganda. Well, even though we don't really use video decks or video cassette players to watch movies anymore, not like we used to, you can still lean into nostalgia by digging out that dusty old VCR player, a few VHS tapes, and hosting a movie watching party with some of your old favorites from those days. I'm guessing in your house or in your apartment you probably don't have it. You might have to go to your parents to grab a VCR. And you probably have like a library of cassettes that you collected over the years, back from when you were a child. I bet you've got old videotapes of, let's say, Mind Your Language, or old videotapes of, some Chuck Norris movie, Missing in Action, or Rambo, or something like that. Wow, those were the days. Videotapes, my goodness. Of course, now in the era of streaming, everything is online now. Every movie you may want to watch is online, and whereas streaming isn't yet a really big thing here in Uganda, of course, what are we doing is we're downloading movies from the the usual places, and saving it onto our thumb drives or external hard drives and connecting it to our smart TVs and just watching it like that, right? So now no one has like a video cassette cabinet in their living room like they used to back in the day. Now we just have an external hard drive that has more movies in it and series than we could have ever imagined ever collecting. Now, I think about my father when it comes to video cassettes, because back when we were growing up in Japan and, the early 80s, that's when the VCRs were really taking off, right? And Japan at the time was this electronics giant, and they were cranking out those machines, very cheap, very affordable. And my dad would always come home from work and would stay up late into the night recording movies off of television, Japanese television, with the aim of getting all these video cassettes and collecting them, building a library, so that in the event that we one day return to Uganda, he can be the king of the hill. Because 1983, 1984, how many people had video decks in Uganda? Not that many. And I remember him counting a total of 600 video cassettes by the time we returned back to Uganda. And of course, where are those video cassettes? They're nowhere. They're all moldy and just, I guess, literally, I think most of the cassettes even disintegrated and were destroyed. So, I mean, that's that. So for all of his effort, the late nights he spent awake trying to record all of these films, I wonder, looking back, does it seem like it was worth it? Well, for the simple fact that it certainly made him happy and gave him a lot of joy to do it. I think if only for that reason, I think, yeah, it's beautiful that he had his little video cassette obsession back in the day. I had my own DVD obsession back in the day. In the early to mid 2000s, I used to buy DVDs by the dozen weekly. I'd order them off of Amazon or eBay or other sources, or I'd buy them from the streets. There used to be lots of hawkers hawking, DVDs. Of course, DVDs also have now gone out of fashion. We are all basically watching movies on hard drives, right? But enough about that. But for what it's worth, please today at least acknowledge that there was once upon a time a thing called a VCR, and for a period of time, it brought a lot of joy into many people's households.